Let's look at part D. Remember, when we are looking for our GCF, the first rule of factoring, if our expression starts with a negative, we're going to factor out that negative as part of our GCF. Then we look at the number parts, 8, 16, and 64. 8 is the greatest common factor. Look for letters. However, 64, their constant term, has no letter, so we know that there cannot be a common letter factor. So my GCF is negative 8. Negative 8 multiplied by h squared would give me negative h squared. Negative 8 multiplied by negative 2h would give me positive 16h. And negative 8 multiplied by negative 8 would give me 64. But then remember, we look at what we're left with in our brackets. We have a trinomial, leading coefficient is 1. We're going to try our product sum method to find out if this factors further. We need numbers that have a sum of negative 2, and at the same time, they need a product of negative 8. So negative 8, well, to get 8, you either have 1 multiplied by 8 or 2 multiplied by 4. In order to get a sum of negative 2, I'm going to need to use the numbers 4 and 2. A positive 2 multiplied by a negative 4 would give me negative 8. And a positive 2 plus a negative 4 have a sum of negative 2. So back in my expression, I'm going to factor that trinomial into two binomial factors. H multiplied by h gives me that h squared. 2 multiplied by negative 4, positive 2 multiplied by negative 4 gives me negative 8. I have my two binomial factors along with my GCF of negative 8, factored fully. Part E looks very messy. However, we take it one step at a time. We're looking for GCF first always. So number parts, 3, 3, and 18, the GCF is 3. I look at like letters. X to the power of 3 has 3 x factors. X to the power of 2 has 2 x factors. X to the power of 1 has 1 x factor. So I'm going with the smallest exponent of x. That's all they have in common. And all of them have a common term of 1y. So my GCF now becomes 3xy. So if we're using our multiplying technique to get back to our first trinomial, 3xy needs to get multiplied by an x squared to become 3x cubed y. 3xy needs to get multiplied by a positive x to get 3x squared y back. 3 needs to get multiplied by negative 6 to give me that negative 18 and nothing else. 3xy multiplied by negative 6 is negative 18xy. So now I look at my trinomial, and I'm going to try for that product sum idea again. It is a trinomial. The leading coefficient is 1. I need numbers that have a sum of positive 1 and have a product of negative 6. So I'm looking at that 6. The only way to multiply to get 6 is 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. In order for them to add to give a 1, I need the numbers 2 and 3. They need to multiply to give a negative 6, so I'm going to try negative 2 and a positive 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1, and negative 2 multiplied by 3 is negative 6. So I'm keeping my GCF. I'm going to write my trinomial as two binomial factors, x subtract 2 and x plus 3. Now my original trinomial is factored fully.